So here we have a question in which we need to plot the following points on the graph, right? So before even plotting the points, if you want to get a guesstimate or a rough idea in which quadrant these points are going to lie, we have already learned the method to locate the quadrants, right? So let us try to find out what are the quadrants for this points, right? So the first point is -2, 8, right? So the first point -2, 8. I can say that this point is in the form of negative number, a positive number, right? This is of the form a negative number, a positive number. As we can see that negative, positive, it lies in the second quadrant, right? We know that when two axes, that is the x-axis, this is our x-axis which is the horizontal axis, this is our y-axis which is our vertical axis. When both the axes they intersect each other, they divide the plane into 4 quadrants, right? In the first quadrant we have all the points whose both x coordinate and y coordinate are positive, right? The coordinate which comes before the comma, is x, and the coordinate which comes after the comma is y. So if x and y both are positive, then we say that the point lies in the first quadrant, right? Similarly, if we have x as negative, that is the first coordinate as negative, and the second one positive, then we say that it lies in the second quadrant. If both of them they are negative, then the point will definitely lie in the third quadrant, right? And if the y coordinate is negative but the x coordinate is positive, then the point will lie in the fourth quadrant. So using this concept which we have already studied, we will be doing these questions. First we will try to locate the points, right? So here we have -2, 8 in which the x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate is positive. So because it is of the form negative, positive, it will lie in the second quadrant. So I am going to write -2, 8, it will definitely be lying in the second quadrant, and then I will plot the point and verify the fact that whether it lies in the second quadrant or not, right? So let us do this next question, which is 1, 7. Now 1, 7, it is of the form positive, positive, right? Positive, positive, right? So I can see that positive, positive, it belongs to the first quadrant. So I am going to write first against 1, 7. So 1, 7 lies in the first quadrant, right? Now the third point, which is 3, -2. 3, -2. Now 3, -2 is of the form positive, negative, right? Positive, negative. So I can see that positive, negative, it lies in the fourth quadrant. So our point or our coordinates 3, -2, they belong to the fourth quadrant, right? Similarly, doing for the last coordinate, that is -5, -3, right? -5, -3 can be written as negative, negative, right? Negative, negative. We can see from this diagram that negative, negative, it belongs to the third quadrant. So I can say that this point will lie in the third quadrant, right? So before even plotting the points, we have known or found out in which quadrant the points they will lie. So let us start plotting the points and see whether we have done it correctly or not, right? So here we have drawn two axes. The horizontal one is the x-axis, the vertical one is the y-axis. What we have done is we have marked points on the x-axis as well as the y-axis, right? Here we have 0 where both the axes they are intersecting each other, or the origin, right? On the right hand side, all the numbers they are positive, so we call this as the positive x-axis, right? We already know this is the positive x-axis. On the left hand side we have negative numbers, so this is the negative x-axis represented by OX dash. Let's say this is x, so OX is positive x-axis and OX dash is negative x-axis. Similarly, OY is positive y-axis and OY dash is negative y-axis, right? So we need to plot the first point, which is -2, 8, right? So I'll be writing -2, 8 here, right? We know that whenever we need to plot these points, the x coordinate, it always tells the distance from the y-axis. The x coordinate, it talks about the distance from y-axis, right? Similarly, the y coordinate, it represents the distance from the x axis, right? So if I mean to say minus 2 comma 8, I can definitely say that the distance from the y axis is nothing but minus 2. Now minus means that we need to move in the left direction, right? So this is minus 1, this is minus 2, so we have landed on minus 2, right? Now 8 means distance from the x axis. Now from x axis, because 8 is positive, so we will move on the upward side. So this is 1, this is 2, we go till 8. So this point corresponds to minus 2 comma 8, right? Minus 2 we moved on the left and 8 we moved upward to land on this point minus 2 comma 8, right? Now we can see that this point, it lies in the second quadrant. This is our second quadrant, this point lies in the second quadrant, and as we already mentioned, we can see this is verified, right? We don't need to plot the point to know the quadrants, we have already done it here. So this lies in the second quadrant, which is true. Now the next point is 1 comma 7, right? 1 comma 7. So I can say that the distance from the y axis will be equal to 1. This is our y axis, so the distance will be 1. Because it is positive, it will be towards the right. So this is 1. And 7. 7 means distance from the x axis. Now we have this as x axis, so because it is positive, so we will move 7 units upward, right? So this will be somewhere here. This is our point 1 comma 7, right? And as we can see that this lies in the first quadrant, so this gets confirmed that 1 comma 7 lies in the first quadrant. Similarly, we have the third point as 3 comma minus 2, right? So first we will point 3 units from the y axis, right? 3 units from the y axis, and we will land at this point, right? Then minus 2 units from the x axis. Minus 2 means we will go in the downward direction, right? This is our x axis. In the downward direction, we will land at this point, and this point will correspond to 3 comma minus 2, right? And this is our fourth quadrant. This is our fourth quadrant, so we can verify from here that 3 comma minus 2, it lies in the fourth quadrant. Now our last point is minus 5 comma minus 3. Minus 5 comma minus 3, right? We know that distance from the y axis is equal to minus 5, so we will move 5 units in the negative direction. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. We have landed here, right? Now we need to move minus 3 units from the x axis, right? Minus 3 means in the downward direction. So we will be moving minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. We have landed here. So minus 5 comma minus 3 will correspond to minus 5 on the x axis and minus 3 on the y axis, which will be represented by this point, which is minus 5 comma minus 3, right? And this lies in the third quadrant. So we can verify that all the points, they are plotted and they correspond to the quadrants that we mentioned earlier, right? So this is a way to plot the points. We have already discussed many questions on this concept.